Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Let's see how many of you are there coming to see me. Okay, and today's topic is a general awareness. We want you to know audit, and more audit. And audit is not a cookie cutter thing, is not all the same. The auditors are coming from different level of government and they carry different purposes for the audit. So what we are trying to do today is to kind of make our small business owners be aware of audit. So when you receive a letter, and you don't go, oh, I get audited, but you don't even know what exactly you are being audited for. So hopefully this will give you a very, very good overall summary and make you smart, because when you talk to your accountant, you can literally go, I received a letter, I'm being audited for 2018 income tax. Look at how precise is that. What about someone says, I have been audited some years, something, I don't know what that is. I'm being audited. Of course, the latter ones, it just didn't really have that knowledge. That's why you talk like that. And we want our small business to step up their level and to really meet the requirement of the government. The survivalship of small business has a lot to do with compliance, I always tell folks that if you think making money is important, and I'll tell you that doing business in the United States of America is equally important to be in compliance. That's just what it is. And now our firm, we received the award called the Better Business Bureau's Ethics Award. Obviously, we're good with ethics standards and we're practicing honestly and we're doing all these good things to receive those awards. So I like to brag about it, because you don't go around getting ethics award if you're not doing great. And of course myself, and I am the CEO of Community CPA. Sometimes I tell people that I'm the managing partner of Community CPA, and Community CPA is a group of people, and we're really representing our community. And we did not name the company with some sort of last name. My last name is Sa. What's so exciting about Sa CPA? It doesn't even sound good, but Community CPA is really the name come from the intention of serving the community. It's not coming from, any other purposes. Otherwise, it will go by people's last name. And I serve on National Taxpayer Advocacy Panel, and that is a federal advisory committee to IRS. And I am serving on notice and correspondence this year. And this is my third year, which is also my last year volunteering on the panel. And so I, would really welcome you if you have anything you'd like me to bring to the channel. And so we can to the panel, to go through the channel and reaching IRS. So that is how we make IRS better, folks. It is not about we are just here being grumpy, and we have to take measures to let government know what small businesses is doing. So here, this is my first book, and my second book is this 10 a.m. book. And I really planned to have that come out last year. Trust me, this pandemic is a whole new puzzle for growing your business. And I felt like I'm not able to really launch a book without going through this pandemic, knowing what kind of things are happening to the business. And I had one small business owner just told me that this pandemic right now for small business is this pandemic is over, but the challenge the small business is facing right now is another pandemic. So that is how much needed guidance we need to go through this new challenges we're facing after COVID-19 is gone. We left with COVID millions, and whatever numbers you give, we have a lot of issues at the small business front. This is something that I knew. I am looking at a lot of small business. I see a lot of issues that coming up, But you don't see social medias, you don't see CNNs and big channels are reporting this because we don't have a unified voice like Google does, like Microsoft has, like Elon Musk has. They are loud. If they have issues, if their company has issues, everybody knows in the world. But small businesses like you and myself, we're small, so our voices, if it is not coming together, nobody knows what issues we have. So I am trying to do my small contribution to address those issues, helping small business to move forward. Sorry. No responsibility disclaimer, always gonna be there, and take our words with good measure. Okay, like you're making cakes, don't put too much sour cream, and not gonna help the cake to shape up. All right, let's look at what we talk about. What type of audit? Every time you get audited, and it belongs to a certain division, a department, certain government in our system. And you know that every level of government can have an audit on you. You can have city government, county government, state government, federal government, and to come to audit you. And for that reason, you really need to understand what's all in the system for small business. For small business owners, and these are the audits that you face the most. And of course, tax audit for both federal and the state, that is what we call income tax audit, right? Income tax audit. They're auditing your income, they're auditing your expense, they're saying that maybe you should pay more taxes. So that's what they're auditing. And the payroll compliance audit, folks, there are 3 governments would do that to you. Payroll compliance audit, including DOL, Department of Labor, and they would come in to see whether you pay people properly. And then IRS could come in to do payroll compliance audit because you're not filing your 941 right, you're not doing your W-2 right, or they can also audit you for you're not classify workers and the subcontractor properly. Related to this worker and the subcontractor classification issue, then your workforce at the state also come to audit you. And who else is doing that audit to you? Workers' comp. Workers' comp also come to audit you. So having said that, did you realize that when you start running payroll, you have a lot more compliance work to do? And I would never recommend any small business owners to do payroll on your own. Don't do that. Rely on CPA firms. Rely on those, those large payroll franchise to help you submit all these reports, because your payroll compliance audit can have DOL to audit you, IRS audit you, workforce audit you, and it can have workers' comp audit you. So these are chances for you to get audited. Sales tax audit is a state audit. And now sales tax audit always coupled with use tax audit. And if you set up a brand new restaurant and you did installations, you bought dishes, you bought napkins, you bought whatever, tablecloths and everything, and you did not pay sales tax when you buy that, you need to pay use tax because you use those merchants in your business, but you did not pay use tax yet. So use tax, sales tax are huge, and you really want to make sure that you report them to the state. And when your sales tax get audited, it feels like they're auditing you like the income tax audit, because they look at your expenses to figure out whether you should pay use tax. They look at your income to see whether you paid the right sales tax. So they're touching expense and income just like how your income tax is being audited. So it's a lot like income tax audit, but it is not the same group. It is not the same area. So it's called sales tax and use tax audit. And the Bank Secrecy Act is another compliance audit. It has so much to do with money laundering. And this is the audit that I see ticking up. And after, even before pandemic, during the 2020 and 2021, I don't see that a lot in about 18 months. Then after the later part of 2021 and up to today, we have seen quite a few BSA compliance audit. What is that? That means that if you're doing money transfer work at the grocery store, you will be audited. And you will be audited by treasuries at IRS. They're not the same group of people. They come in to look to see whether you have transfer money and check cashing, by the compliance requirement. And for businesses like ordinary businesses, if you receive cash payment from your customer, you might need to file 8300. I have another video on YouTube just talk about that, folks, and you need to know that. And especially if you're opening car dealership and you have large item cash coming in for you, and don't try to just count on money and thinking, oh, I paid income tax and I'm good. No, you're not good, because the 8300, if you don't file them timely, and that's $260 charge for everyone you didn't file, then up to $1.3 million charge for the year. So that can get very expensive. There's a lot more details in there. I want you to watch that video, but just remember, money laundering is another audit that is going on. It's called a compliance audit. Other compliance audit, of course, the city, county, state, and the federal government give you example. And if you're in a city who requires that the certain retailer store can only sell 40% on liquors, the 60% has to be on other goods and the sales. So they have those limitations, otherwise you become a liquor store, right? The city posts that rule. So they can come in to audit your income to see how much is coming from liquor, how much is coming from other sale. So you see, that's audit. So you really need to understand the regulation, the compliance that in your area, and know what is that, then you know how to prepare yourself, right? So compliance audit also include for the county. And if you got money from your county, and that during the pandemic time, the money was given to you to pay the workers, and that they can come back to you now, say, hey, Mr. Small Business, can you show me you have paid my money I give to you to your worker? And are you going to use the same money that you applied for PPP? Are you going to use the same money you applied for ERC? Are you going to use the same money you paid in using RRF? Of course not. So those are the things you need to really think and really prepare, because as soon as you get government money, yes, you are subject to that compliance review, and make sure that you understand every level of government has a right to come into your business to comply and review you. And that including INS, that including immigration. Immigration can walk into your business and asking you for those employees, you sponsored them. Maybe you had H1 in your work, in your business, and then they want to know you're paying, the prevailing wages. They're wanting to make sure that the employee is working. So all of these things are anything in business. And come on down to compliance review, you have only one choice: comply and pass. If you don't, penalty and hurt your business, and you might even close, right? So this is the other compliance audit that I want you to be aware of as a small business. Now, especially after pandemic, and if you receive the large amount of shattered grant money and receive the large amount of RRF, if you spent more than $750,000 in that 1 year, say you got a $3 million RRF or shattered venue grant, and you spent $1 million each year, right? You spend $1 million, and that $1 million you spent need to be audited. It is called a financial statement audit, and it's called a single audit because it's a federal grant. You spend more than $750,000, and you have to hire auditor like Community CPA to come in to do single audit for you. So those are the things that's coming to our small business, and sometimes our small business owners never even heard of it. They didn't even know, oh, really? I need to do single audit? Yes, you need to do single audit. And we actually get engagement from out of state because people in other state, they don't have anybody who can handle the single audit that they know, but they know Community CPA, then they will call us up and we will do single audit. So these are the things I want you to be aware of. You got government money and you will be compliance reviewed. You will have to follow government rules. So those are coming upon you, even though it's post-COVID, but the business environment is not any good for small business. I have not heard anybody saying that, oh, my business environment is better than prior to COVID, or it's even the same as COVID time. A lot of people saying that we think COVID is hard, 2020 is hard. Actually, 2021 is harder. 2022 so far is even worse. So this is what we hear small business talking. So just be prepared. And when you are struggling with your everyday operation, you want to get yourself mentally prepared for coming up with more compliance audit on you. And, you know, nothing to lose sleep over, but at least to know that you need to do your accounting properly. You want to know which professional people you need to work with when that happens. So you have your way out when that happens. All right, financial statement audits sometimes, and a lot of small nonprofit would do financial statement audit. Large nonprofit organization, if they did not receive federal grants, they do a regular financial statement audit. So financial statement audit is really audit about your income statement, balance sheet, about your financial transactions that meeting the GAAP standards. So those are, you know, well, sometimes when you call the CPA firm or you call the tax preparation firm, you say, do you do audit? They will ask you, what do you mean? Because they're waiting for you to say that, is that a tax audit or is that a financial statement audit? Because if it is financial statement audit, then obviously, and that need to be done with CPAs that has the license to work on the audit. But tax audit is going with the tax preparer, and the tax preparers, CPAs, attorneys can represent the taxpayer to get the tax audit done. So not every audit everyone is qualified to do, and just be aware that if it is financial statement audit, single audit, you need a licensed CPA to do your audit. And so your normal tax preparers probably won't be able to help you. And of course, and who would ask for these audits? So we sort of talked about, you know, if you have a large company with a board of directors and leadership, maybe they ask to be audited because they want to make sure the operation is running properly. If you have partners, and you know, a lot of time large partnership has audit because they want the partners to receive their K1 and to be convinced those financial statements were done properly and the tax was prepared properly, right? If you're a public company, of course you have to do audit because your stock traded on the open market. And what if you're just lying about your results? So they need you to be audited. Those are, you know, PCOB is an organization managing those public companies audit and the standards. So that way the public companies are being regulated to report them to with the same format, so that the third party people like us, we don't go to Microsoft to figure out how they run their business, but we can go on the stock market to see their price to decide whether to purchase their stock or not, right? So the public can read their financial statement. That's why they're doing audit. And of course, when you have a shareholder dispute, when you fight in court about your interest or your money, and a lot of times an audit is required. And of course, reporting needs. If you want to report your RF fund was spent properly and you spend more than 750,000, yeah, you need to do an audit to, that's a report that's needed, and the government want to see that. And small business have government funds and have the partners and have loans and the mortgages from the bank are a lot of time required to be audited. So with all of these things, we sort of used so many times in this short video, we used many times the word of audit. And I want you to just understand the audit for small business owners means that someone, the outside person, whether it's a government person or it's attorney who are solving your dispute, is a third party who want to see your documentation is presented fairly. With that, maybe if it is government who comes to see it, they charge you. If you didn't pay enough taxes, there's a penalty, and there is penalty on top of penalty coming to you. But if it is dispute, then with that audit, and then your shareholder can peacefully depart from each other. So we will no longer with financial issues. But if it is compliance, and I hope that you are in line with the requirement, then you can smoothly operating your business without glitches. Small business, we cannot afford to have these kind of audits shut you down. You cannot afford it because your household is relying on it. And it is really not a random occurrence to you, small business owners. I'll tell you, and in your business, you will be audited. I promise you. It is not because you're bad, you're being audited. It's just that's the program. That is how the government is built upon the country, upon the business, so we can run a more smooth, a unified process, right? We already have so many unfair things happening on the commercial, on the business ground, but without these regulations compliance, it will be even worse. So those regulations compliance is really meant to keep us on the same competition ground, so we are fair. But for you, when you get audited, and I hope that you have already lined up your ducks in a row and you are good, there's nothing to worry. All right, so with that said, I want you to know that we always bring to you the most current issues that we see on the field. And the most current issues we see on the field right now, is what? Audits. More and more are coming upon. Some of the audit I don't agree, because I really think it's a very bad timing to put that burden on the small business. But government is government. They have a different point of view. And as a small business owner, you have me, and I am here to support you as every way I can. And if you are concerned of you being compliance reviewed, some area you are weak, it is time to fix it. You want to fix it, then you can sleep well and you don't worry. All right. And you can email Catherine at communitycpa.com and for topics that you're interested. And we open 6 days a week. And that's another specialty of Community CPA. We're not the CPA firm that sitting on the top in the sky and, God knows how many 100 floors up, and then so far removed from the community. And then they only operate Monday to Friday when we're so busy with our work. Who has time to to talk to the accountant, right? And we open on Saturdays for you. So I hope, and this gives us the content for today. And I want to thank you for all of you coming online to listen to me. And I hope that you pass your audit like nothing. It is just a normal course, normal things happen for your business. There's nothing to be worried, and you'll be just fine. And if you feel otherwise, and then make sure you contact professional, get yourself prepared, because that is coming to every small businesses. All right, I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.